The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 five-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 45% off with minimum purchase, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.
Sunday morning. With us today is Dr. Sky, otherwise known as Steve Cates. And so many things are going on up there, whether it's the moon, Mars. There's always something going on. And, well, Steve Cates, what do you have to say this Sunday morning?
Well, good morning. Happy Sunday to you and the listeners, John. We got a couple of great stories. One we begin with in space. We've all heard of the term black holes. And we know that nothing, at least from our vantage point, can escape the power of a black hole. Electromagnetism, everything, heat, light. Where does it go? Where does it come from? But the basic view, John, of black holes is we originally thought there was only one type, and that it was formed after a massive star collapse and created this big area of suction in space, if you want to call it. But now astronomers and cosmologists, the people who study the creation of the universe, say that there's these things, John, called primordial black holes from the creation of the universe. So in other words, some of these may have been formed when the universe formed 13.5 billion years ago. And here's the weird part, John. They're floating free in the universe, and some of them could be as small as the Earth. And this coming from a discovery of something even more bizarre, the subject of gravitational waves. What's that? How space-time can be warped. So if you have an explosion of some type in space, keeping it simple, the ripples of gravity, and they're noticing something within those ripples may be there to interfere with the stream of those ripples. And they could be, John, a plethora of these miniature black holes. Imagine that. Who knows? Floating out in the deep universe. Amazing.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I mean, and the truth is, I'm not sure we really know the truth anyway.
I agree.
Now, I heard this week that the Mars landers are doing well still out there, and they're finding some things that NASA doesn't want to disclose. Have you heard about that?
John, I've heard a little bit about it, but before I comment on it, I want to make sure that I do a deep dive into this. We're hearing a lot of things, and all centered around the so-called disclosure information. When we'll ever be told about the UAPs and UFOs. But John, my story next is about Mars, and I think you and the audience will love it. The planet Mars, John, is about 4,200 miles in diameter. What's that mean? It's 2 times the diameter of our Earth's moon. But there's a feature that stands out on Mars that's most incredible. It's the most massive volcano in the solar system. It's known as Nix Olympia, Olympic snow, Mount Olympus. John, it's 370 miles in diameter. That's about the size of the state of Arizona or the nation of France. And here's the most intriguing part. This big giant volcano is 72,000 feet above the surface of Mars. And it formed millions of years ago. It was an active volcano.
Is that double Mount Everest?
Absolutely. And then some, which is incredible. So if you take Mount Everest, let's say we rounded it, even though it's not 30,000 feet, 29 and change. It's double that, 30 and 30, 60. We're talking 72,000 feet, John. So this particular planet, the mysteries still continue. And just before talking about these landers on Mars, they're searching for evidence of life. They may have come across some stuff that we haven't been told about. It's all part of the course with the whole thing with UAPs. When will we ever be told the truth? But, John, that puts it in perspective. That makes Mars the center of so many mysteries as we talk about here. But then we end off, John, with the mystery of the week. And this is something that you brought to my attention. And summarizing it for the audience, a large 220-pound meteor known as the Murchison meteorite. This object may be, and at least we know from science, having the oldest material ever found on Earth. Inside these little grains of stardust or material are 7 billion years old. John, the Earth wasn't formed, at least we think. We don't have an absolute 4.5 billion years ago. So what's going on with this is, where did this material come from when the universe was, 13.7 billion years in formation? That's how old it is. But these are 7 billion years old. And some even go to this theory, now that UAPs and UFOs are right in our minds. There's a theory, John, and we can't prove it, that life may have originated on the Earth in a process called panspermia. Sounds kind of technical. What is it? That comets and asteroids may have seeded the universe with the earliest forms of life. And that goes to beg the question, if that happened, where else did it seed life? And that's the big quest, right, John, to understand or find out the truth of what lies out in the universe. Are we alone? Probably not. And that's fascinating.
I'm sure we're not alone, and I am sure there's more life out there than meets the eye. And I told you one time what the Archbishop told me was that the fact is, why do you think our Creator only left his seeds on just one planet?
So well said, John. And concluding, here's something for everybody to take a look at with their own eyes. Look into the sky to the northwest after sunset. The two brightest objects you'll see higher up into the northwest are both Venus, the lowest and brightest, and then just to the upper left of it is Jupiter. And by the first week, John, and into maybe around the 9th of June, these two objects are going to form a magnificent conjunction about the diameter of a full moon in the sky, the great mysteries of what conjunctions meant, like the, quote, Star of Bethlehem and other things connected to the heavens. Something to see, John, as we look into the skies, open up our minds about mysteries, and certainly seek answers to what's out there in the great cosmos.
Steve Cates, thank you for your wisdom. And I listen to you every Saturday and Sunday on WABC in New York, I guess from midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning. And I really enjoy those discussions, and talk to you again real soon.
Well, thank you, John, for the opportunity, and everybody have a most wonderful Sunday morning. Thank you.